Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to your very last video critique of 2020. This year has been interesting. From the Academy of Animated Arts side of things, it's been incredible. I've gotten to know so many of you. We've made so much progress, so many changes, so many updates to the school, to the classes, to our forum, and the thing that I'm most proud of is the community that we've built with all of you, and each one of you is a huge part of that. This is exactly what we sought out to create when we built this school. We wanted to make a place where people could come together, learn from one another, encourage one another, support one another, and just make incredible images. And you guys do that each and every day. And I could not be prouder of what we've built here. And a huge thanks to all of you for making that happen. So, not going to get into too much 2020 stuff. We're just going to jump into the critique from here. Okay, let's start. Let's do the alphabetical order at the top. Okay, actually, make sure I've got, all right, Aaron B. Should always just start with Aaron B. I know that the double A's and the B last name throws you right at the beginning. So this is great. I really, really like the setup. I want this area down here to be a little bit darker to create a little bit more framing. Just darken that down to about that level. Would be really good because it keeps the gaze here and doesn't allow us to shift focus over there. I would continue with this one to push a little bit more glow and happiness into the scene a little more diffusion, and just like, and I'm just looking at the background lights. Push the background lights a little bit brighter so that there's a little bit of a core sense of where the light source is, like a really strong base on this to kind of come out, because it's a little bit, it's like they're almost like, I'm not seeing it here, I'm seeing it over here a little bit, I'm not seeing it on this one. Like really push the core value of it. I'm also wondering if we can't perhaps darken the area back behind his legs here to get those to stand out a little bit. I really like the value of those, but getting that to push back a little bit. And then I just want to see more of this sequence. I want to see this type of look and maybe 2 or 3 other shots. And so I would encourage you, if you're going to be working during the holidays, to take this idea, to take this aesthetic and try and extrapolate that to a couple more areas too. But because I think that it could really create a nice, powerful piece if you've got this type of a setup in a few different locations. So really, really good job. Aaron T. This is a great start. So I'm going to mention this for a couple of these, but I do want to start with you is just talking about our depth of field with sushi. So I was looking at some references. I really want to bring this up, but look how quickly things go out of focus with sushi at this scale, right? So I mean, even on this one, we've got the roll, we've got a little bit of a telephoto lens, and that is just creating so much depth and so much blur in this that I really think we can play up something like that. So you don't have to put all of them out of focus because I know they're each kind of doing their own thing, but definitely the background, because it's one of those things that happens when you have a stylized character and a detailed background. The details in the background start to stand out more because there's more fine shape in there. And so you don't want to emphasize that too much. So defocus the background. You can possibly get some more defocus out of these guys. I love the idea of this kid running away from this sushi roll. It's kind of I very much empathize with that character. I do that a lot. And now the other thing I really want you to focus in on is the way that the rice is looking. It looks nice in pink, but these specular highlights are a little bit much. I want it to feel a little bit more subsurfacey and less like hard plastic. So I would try and get a little bit of a subsurface scattering on there. And then additionally, I would allow, do you see how in these sushi rolls, we're not really picking up the dark values? The dark values are lifted a little bit and it's kind of making it a little bit glossy. I would try and get the darks to be a little bit darker, especially in their eyes there. But that would be my big steps there, and then getting the darks in there, getting some more depth of field. I'm not quite sure what's falling from the sky, if that's confetti, but those should feel a little bit brighter, a little glowier, a little more translucent. Right now they feel a little low contrast and a little hard, just really rock solid. Yeah, I would start with that, and then we'll go from there. But great start here. Amy, this one's a lot of fun. I love that you've incorporated the sparklers into this. That makes the lighting have a lot more sense to it, and I think that's really great. Love the facial reaction on this character. I'm not quite sure if I've mentioned that yet. I think it's really good. I want you to look at this character as kind of a benchmark to go from, because this character is working really, really well. There's a little bit of specularity on the rice. There is subsurface kind of breaking in here through the back, but there's just like nice little specular highlights kind of picking up all of that and getting some more shaping in there while really showing the direction of the light coming from behind. The character here in the middle is kind of overly lit from the top. It's getting a little bright from the top, and we're kind of losing some of the shaping on it because it's kind of getting hit from light from all directions. So I would simplify the lights here in the middle. And really think about, like, if we've got the light coming in here, then maybe one back over there. And then if you do have a top-down light, really play it up more like a rim that's just getting some specular hits on there. And then also, if you've got a top-down light, let's really kind of sell it with some volumetric up there. Or just some light rays or something showing us that, or even just some brightness around the top here, just to show us that there's light kind of coming down from there. Because it's so bright, it's the primary light on the scene that we want to kind of feel that influence on that a little bit. I'm wondering if we can't get a little drop shadow from these guys onto the, like if there's a little bit of darkness that we can achieve underneath there, and also a little bit back here too, to just kind of zero us in on the central point. Also, if there's anything that you can kind of, any sort of geometry you can kind of squeeze in this region just to kind of wall that off and allow us to focus it on the middle would be hugely beneficial. But really looking great, and very, very excited to see how this progresses. Ashley, again, a lot of fun. Really like this. I would desaturate this guy. Looking at him, he's getting hit with all this orange light, and it's just kind of pulling him off of his hero color a little bit, and he's no longer feeling like the sushi. Like his rice and the sushi rolled now kind of have a similar hue. So just make sure you kind of pull those out a little bit. All the other changes I think are looking really good. This guy here, I would almost pull him out because it's so close and there's just not enough detail in there. It might just be easier to either throw him out of focus. You could do that too. Yeah, put him out of focus like he's in the foreground depth of field, and or just nudge him off the screen. Maybe give both a try and see what goes. But same deal with yours. I just want to see this lighting in a couple more shots. So like I would say expand this to like 2 or 3 shots and see where we go. And then I'd also get I would just gamma up the whites on the rice there because I really like the way that these whites are playing out. This one looks a little gritty and a little bit darker. All right, Dani. Okay, let's hop into your animation here. So nice and clean. I think the colors are looking a lot better. The reds on the door is good, but for some reason the red up here is kind of standing out to me as being a little bit too much. I missed that this one was spinning because this one's like not symmetric, so it stands out a little bit more. This one is symmetric and there's not a lot of bump on it, so I would say maybe change the texture a little bit. And then once I do notice it, I notice that there is something. Oh, that's weird. That happens down there. Do you see that like broken shader? So just take a look at that. And let's see. The other thing that I would consider doing for you is there's something that needs to be done about the ground in the extreme foreground. So you've got this yellow ground and it's being hit by this blue sky, and it's just making it kind of grayish green. So I would consider for just the ground and maybe the little steps that she's going on, I would consider hitting that with a different skylight that is much less saturated and more of like a white light. Because I want to just keep that hero color on the ground without losing it to because it's just like it's a good chunk of the frame, and we're just kind of missing our hero color there. And I know you said you've got some other things you're tweaking, and that's cool. One funny one is just like this, like bright spot there on that window or on that ceiling tile. So I would just look into that and make sure that you maybe just try and plug that hole a little bit. But yeah, everything else is looking a lot of like it's fun. It's a fun concept. So excited to see where you go from there. All right. Oh, Diana, I think these look great. I think I would call these done at this point. I think they look really, really good. The only other thing I guess maybe would be to lift some of the darks on this telescope in here, just because it's right up against the window, and this like reflective edge would pick up some more of the surroundings. But I mean, overall, it's great. And maybe take down this. God, I look at these things for too long. Maybe just take down the specularity on the back wall like 10%, just because like in here it's getting a little bit much. So I would just do that there. All right, Donika, this one's looking great. I think this is all good. The only thing I would change is just take down the rear view mirror there. I don't know why that's bugging me, but I would just tone that down just a touch. And everything else, I think is falling into place really nicely. I like the value of the light coming out. I think that's all good. I think I would lock this one up and move it on to our next, to your next project. So really great job there. Jenn, I really love the scene, love the feeling overall. I am, you know what? I think this scene would really benefit from more darkness in the background. I know I was kind of iffy on these lights. I just know that you added those and that took some extra work. So, but I do think that like having all of these off and just allowing for just more darkness back there will really, really help us focus in, and really tell this story of like, it's a love story between the fish and the rice, and it just makes me laugh every time. I think you could benefit from a little ambient occlusion in the scene. I'm looking down at their feet, and I just want to see a little bit more contact shadow in there, and same thing with some of these characters in the sides. Not too much, and I wouldn't add it everywhere, just a little bit into those shadows. I would soften these just a touch because they are being filtered through these diffusion balls. And yeah, and then watch out for like as things are going through this refraction, it's kind of weird that it gets brighter back behind it, so just something to be aware of there. Not quite sure why that's happening, but yeah, I think darkening more on the surroundings to get us to focus on the main characters is our next big step. Jordan, I know that you're still working on getting the normal map in there, so I'm not going to say anything about the detail on his face because I know you're still working on it. Subsurface scattering on plants always looking good. Love the detail on this. That's looking great. I think everything else is looking great. Just get the skin in place, and then I would put I would put some geometry for a bulb in there because I'm missing seeing that right there. Right? Just a bright bit, and that would be good. These sketches look cool. They're fun valuations or fun explorations into the look of it. I loved your... you said something like, oh, these drawings were just like, I didn't watch Piper, I just know. It was like, oh no, a bird. And like, that was, look out, bird, or something like that. Was very funny. It made me giggle. All right, Jordan Jenkins. Let's see, we've got your 3 iterations here. The previous one, the second one that you posted, and then the third one. So let's talk about this guy. Okay. So from a structural standpoint, I do think that we can create some more tonal differences in the scene. And we do that by making it brighter back behind her, allowing her contrast levels to step forward, and then placing all of these characters into more darkness in their foreground and allowing them just to kind of be hit by rim light. Because all we need to know is that their profiles exist. We don't need to see this detail. And then there's something going on here between her hair and whatever's going on here, that it's all kind of blending together, and I'm not quite sure what is what at this point. So because I think this is just the person's head here, and then this is something back behind it. But now I'm looking at it, I could be wrong on that. Either way, we need to get more definition on as to what that is, and if that is the edge of the head here, if this is like a ponytail, then just getting some more rim light on there. Now, Oh, I would watch out. Something to be aware of is like, because we've got a bunch of lifted values in the scene, these dark values on these holes really, really are punchy. So you may have to lift those dark values a little bit in the long run. Now, let's talk about our approach to lighting a dark-skinned character. I am in the process of putting together additional presentation on this. I'm going to be doing a thing with the Foundry in February about this. I've been doing a lot of research. And basically, when you're lighting dark-skinned characters, and I talk about this in the class, but I was looking at more reference, you basically want to play off of the... you want the skin color generally to be like a rich, dark on the hero color, and then really utilize the reflections in the skin tones, because darker objects are able to reflect more, and you're able to push more specularity and more values, and at times more color into the specular highlights to create shaping while keeping the character on its hero color. I was reading about the DP, or the cinematographer for this, I guess it's the DP, and how she uses like LED panels of colored lights around, like very small radius lights around, to create this kind of shaping on them, and it's just really, really, really beautiful. And same thing here with Queen and Slim. Again, you feel the darkness, you feel the hero color of the skin tone, but you're able to get the shaping by utilizing the specularity and not pushing the diffuse too much. So with this, I would encourage you, like some of these values on the key side are a little bright in the diffuse. I would tone those down and really push in the specularity, and that, I think that will really help sell this up. And then really playing, and by doing that, you're able to create more darkness in the core values and just really play up the rim light there. So I think that, yeah, this will be a lot of fun. Cat, really cool stuff. I think this is looking great overall. The smoke is still not feeling 100% real to me. I almost wonder if, and it's going to suck, you're going to be mad at me for this, but if we, like, you just do an iteration without the smoke and an iteration with it, because I think I think it might be hurting us from the rest of the image. I think it might just be too distracting. So let's try an iteration without it, but I think everything else is falling together really well. And then we'll go from there. Mindy, so you've got your 2 iterations. I agree with the comments that I like this one better. It's more about the tones of the background. This just kind of feels like a murky, overcast day. This, bright and sunny, matches your original reference a lot better. Same deal with what I was saying before. You could add a lot more depth of field blur if you want. I know you said you want to keep these guys in focus, totally fine, but this can get blown out even further. In terms of the values, in terms of the lighting on the character, I think they're being overly lit a little bit by the key. Like, looking at these white values, are going very, very bright. And then looking at the core value of the character, I think the greens are a little bit brighter. This is about as bright as they should really get. And then you should feel some more specularity and reflection in them. Lift the rice value on these characters a little bit more. I think they can come up. And then once we're in here, there's a weird texture going on in there that almost makes them feel like balls of yarn. So I would try and figure out what that is, and then double check the textures on especially on this one here. This feels a little off to me. So go with this one. Try increasing the depth of field. Tone down the key light a little bit. Increase the value of the whites back here, and we'll see where that takes us there. But this is really, really nice. Nigel, love showing where you've come from on this project. It's so cool and just it's so rewarding. I think your shaping is great. I like to look at the fall off on her, and some of these subtleties is really nice. I just think we need to pull back a little bit on the brightness, like maybe 20%, because I think the shaping is all there. I just think they're now, which is a good problem, they're feeling a little bit overly bright for the scene. So there's a thing where I would just pull that back a little bit, and then watch out for like the highlights on these shoes, because those are very bright. And then I would try and pull a little bit more bright light on the ground, because again, you want to make them feel like they're in the environment. It's all the same lighting, so this is a lot of light on them, and we just want to feel it a little bit more on the ground, like the way I can feel it on top of their shoes. I want to feel it down there, but really, really, really nice progress here. All right. We got a sushi ref. And last but not least, I think this is, yeah. So last but not least, we've got Sylvain. So reference image here from Blade Runner, I believe. And this guy is crazy looking. It's like this guy is made for this lighting. It's like the lighting on him is so perfect for this. It's kind of just like getting the shapes of his face and just his mood and everything. It's just perfect on him. It's very, very, very cool. So looking at his hair, because I know that's a big one for you. So you got your 2 iterations here. I love seeing the iterations because it's like watching you guys work. It's so fun. So with this one, I feel like the hair is more glowy than backlit. So looking at the reference, you can really feel the variation coming up from behind. I want to challenge you to see if you can get that a little more. So like you can kind of feel it. I guess maybe it's more the angle, like feeling it back there, and then just like more of a gradual fall off, where the hair towards the front is almost darker, right? I think that would help a lot. In terms of the light coming up from underneath, I think it's just too specky. Like seeing some of this come up into his nose makes him feel like plastic. And then I would tone down the redness of his lips. I love the shaping here. I just wonder if we can make that source a little bit bigger and a little bit of a less specular contribution. And watch out for because this is just in the model, the specularity on the eyebrows. It's a little bit too much. Eyes look really cool. Oh, and the other thing is, I think that the skin tone, and I know we're getting hit by all this cool light, I would like for the skin tone to feel a little bit more warm. Like you can still feel warmth in their skin tones, even though they're hit by some cool light. And this one, it feels more purple and less that like kind of blood red color kind of shining through. All right, everybody. So that's it. That's it for 2020. You guys are, like I said, you guys have been absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of each and every one of you and all the hard work that has gone into making this year incredible. We are working on making a best of the best show reel for the year, and we're super excited to get that released in January or February, and we can showcase all that you guys have done. So thank you again. Keep posting, keep working, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do in the new year. Happy holidays, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of yourselves and enjoy it. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Happy lighting, everybody.